This is Megan here at the Ashland Public Library, and welcome to our first Parentcraft video, where today I'm going to show you a few projects that you can make for your kids. Some stuff to keep them busy inside while it's cold. Some of them you can actually do together and have lots of fun. These are all going to be geared towards your littlest kids. So I have a couple projects and ideas for your babies, which are going to be 12 months and under. And then there's a few for toddlers, which is, if they're about 10, 11 months, up to about 3 years or so. And then for some preschoolers, which is roughly 3 to 5. But every kid is different and reaches different levels at different times. So you know your kids better than anyone. If you think that they would like these activities, feel free to give them a try. So our first activity is going to be for the littlest, for our babies. And it's going to work on their hand-eye coordination and some fine motor skills. And you're going to need a plastic or other sort of cylinder container. And you want that to have a thin, flexible lid. So this is a jar that had pretzels in it. Oatmeal containers work really great for this. And then the other thing that you'll need is some type of card. We're at a library, so I have some old due date cards. Playing cards will work, Uno cards. And then you'll need something to cut with. I have an X-Acto blade. You're going to want to do this yourself as a parent, obviously. And we are going to just cut a slit, there we go, in this lid. If you don't have the X-Acto blade, you can definitely use scissors, and poke it down in, be very careful, or a sharp knife. And then if you want to go the extra mile, you could decorate this, draw pictures or what have you for your little one. But if not, all you need to do is give these to your baby. And I didn't make my slit big enough. What is it they say? Measure once, measure twice, cut once. I tend to wing everything. So, yeah, we'll just make this a little bit bigger. There we go. And then your little one can put the cards in through the slot. So yeah, once they are sitting up and grasping, that's very similar concept as some of those toys that you get with the shapes, which if you have enough of these containers, you could even cut a square and give them blocks, and cut a circle and give them a ball. But yeah, it's good practice for their little fingers to grip a thin card and then push it in. So that's the first one. The second one can get quite messy. I'm not going to really demonstrate it, but oftentimes you see paint recipes for babies because they're edible, but they tend to be things like paint with pudding and paint with yogurt, which is a lot of fun, but it can also be kind of gross and a gross cleanup. So you can actually just give them a piece of construction paper and a clean paintbrush. We have these nice, they're thick handled, and a bowl of water. And they can paint the water right on here. It will still make a mess. The paper will eventually disintegrate. But if you miss a spot, you don't have to worry about, gross smelling old yogurt. even just different bowls and cups of water. Babies love to play with water. Your toddlers might also like to do this as well. If they like being silly, it can be quite silly to paint with no paint. All right, and then, so if you do have toddlers, I have a couple of ideas if you wanted to try. So the first one, you'll need some toilet paper tubes. And this is a fun thing that you can do together. You can decorate them. So I just drew on this one with markers. I wrote a number on this one. It's a great way to practice their writing skills. And then I had some leftover paper and I wrapped this one. But you really don't need to be fancy, and it would be a lot of fun to just get some of the tubes and you guys can color on them together. And once you have them decorated, piece of string, we have yarn. You can use an old shoestring. Dental floss would work with this. And this also will help hand-eye coordination and some fine motor skills for your toddlers. And you're just going to have them practice threading the tubes that you decorated. Just like giant beads. So this is really fun for your younger toddlers. You know, 12, 13 months, this will be pretty tough for them to do. As they get older, they'll be much better at doing it, but they still might have fun. And you can always tie your string off when they're done. And then they have their very own giant chunky necklace. And then also for your toddlers this winter, if they need to burn off some of that extra energy, I have a game that they can play indoors, and it's pretty easy to set up and make. You just need paper, or you can use envelopes, and you are going to write the alphabet on these. You can do all 26 letters, you can just do a handful of letters. Because this game will help them with letter recognition. If there are any letters that they are struggling with, Q maybe. So you want to make sure that you include those. So Q, Z. We'll do an M for Meghan, or a W for wow. And then you're going to need to make some fishies, and it's just construction paper. They don't have to be great. That is one of the good things about kids when they're this age, especially if they are your kids, is they don't judge. So you can be as amazing or as terrible at art as you like, or singing. They like all of it. And if you have more than one kid, this is a great for older siblings to play together. So you'll cut out your fishies. Depending on how many kids you are playing will depend on how many fishies you want. So the way the game works is very similar to if you've ever done a cakewalk. So in your living room or your playroom, you're going to set your letters and space them on the ground. So we'll just, let's see. If we use our imaginations, pretend that, and then you'll have your fishies in between them. And then pick some of your kids' favorite songs. If they like the Wiggles or I always liked Raffy when I was little. I don't think he's that popular anymore. But you're gonna play music and they're gonna walk across. And then when you stop, if they are standing on a letter, they have to say what letter they're on. So Q. And if they are standing on a fishy, they get to pick it up. And the first player to get 2 fishies wins. It's called the polar bear walk game. So if you want an extra layer of fun, you can have them act like a polar bear as they go around. If they have a whole lot of energy and you can't get them outside because it's too cold or too snowy, so you can have them hop from letter to letter, or crawl, or crab walk, just whatever sort of movement that you can think of, get them to burn off some of that energy, and then they're learning their letter recognition at the same time. And like I said, it's more fun. If you have older kids, they can help play as well. Your preschoolers might like that game as well. And if you have a preschooler and a toddler and you've done and decorated your toilet paper tubes, another easy game to set up inside is bowling. So we'll set up our tubes, and you just need a ball. I have a tennis ball. You can use any kind, and you can work on rolling gently. And you can set this up in the living room, playroom, hallway. And like I said, have your kiddos help you out and decorate all of your bowling pins. And then they can count how many they knocked over. So I knocked over 1. So that's a lot of fun. It's definitely one you have to keep an eye on them so that they're not overhand throwing super hard. But yeah, that's a fun one for preschoolers, and it's a one that siblings can play together. So if you do have little ones, they can help out and roll the ball as well. And then the last thing that I have for preschoolers is going to be some fine motor skills. And you're going to want to, if you have little ones, younger than preschool, you'll want to keep an eye, because we'll need some rubber bands. And then you just want some different household objects that are roughly cylindrical. So I have my coffee travel mug. I have a container of salt, a flashlight. I have some sprinkles. Depending on how much curiosity your kid has and if they like to taste things, if you are using something like salt, you might want to tape the spout shut. I know with the kiddos in my family, they will definitely eat these sprinkles. But the whole idea with this is they will stretch the rubber bands and loop them on to the different sized objects. And if you can get a hold of different size and shaped rubber bands, that can be fun as well, because they stretch with different amounts of tension. You can also, if you get colored rubber bands, you can color coordinate. So my travel mug is a pinky red, so put all the red rubber bands with the matching color. We can put the yellow rubber bands on the yellow flashlight. Our salt container has a lot of blue. So yeah, you can, anytime you can point out colors. And the other thing that is fun is once they get enough rubber bands, they generally figure out that they make fun sounds. So you can make instruments. But yeah, depending on how many rubber bands you have. I've done this with kiddos before, and believe it or not, it seems like a simple thing, but they do actually struggle sometimes to stretch them. And they feel very accomplished when they get it big enough to go over top. So, depending on your kids, that might be a nice quiet activity at the kitchen table while you're trying to cook dinner. So those are my different Parentcraft ideas. Let me know what you think. You can leave a comment down below. If you have any other tips and tricks on keeping your little ones occupied and happy and teaching them through play. Kids learn their best through play. So yeah, let us know. I hope you at least give a couple of these a try, and I hope your kids have a lot of fun, and I hope you guys make great memories together. Bye.